All right, welcome back, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out, as always. During the last video, I mentioned how I wanted to do some more short form content related to gameplay as I'm testing these new lists for Vynnset with our new Rosetta pieces. So here we are again. We're going to take a look at another game and see how it went. So this time we got paired into an Aurora. Again, I'm not, I'll pause it here for a second. I'm not going to talk about the makeup of the deck list. There's a whole deck tech video, as well as some gameplay associated with that video that you can go take a look at. These short form videos are more just to talk through some of my plays, helps me identify maybe where I went wrong. Again, sort of sideboarding with my heart here. As we're figuring out this new meta and these new matchups, I don't really have a super solid game plan into these heroes. So I'm just choosing to go mostly Redline here, choosing to test out our new piece. So this is different from my most recent list. I actually cut back on the number of Rune Gate cards. I thought we had a few too many attacks, actually. So cut back on 3. I think I cut out the Phantom Banshees. Even though it is a 2-card 10, the 3 costs a little more awkward. So I decided I want to test out Haunting Rendition. I think it is a neat piece, and it's quite versatile. So we're putting that in against this matchup just to see how it feels. Great turn 0. We get to banish our favorite card, Deathly Wail. We get to play out a Malefic Incantation to set up for Rune Chance next turn. And we get to make a bunch of Rune Chance with Reed. And we get to sit on a Succumb to Temptation. It's that's the dream turn 0, honestly. Off to a great start here. I'm still trying to figure out Aurora, and I think people are still trying to figure out Aurora in general. So I don't quite know exactly which attacks I'm supposed to respect more and all that kind of stuff. So we're figuring it out. I did remember finally to play Grimoire against our Rune Blades, which allows us to break Vexing Quillhand without worrying about it too much. So here I just decided to take some Arcane. They're presenting 4 vanilla, and we have the potential to go off here on turn 1. So I'm just deciding to take some vanilla damage here so that we can set up for a really impressive turn. So here we're going to banish this Eloquent Eulogy. It's sort of the no-brainer option. We're going to start off with Deathly Wail for 5 and 6. Or no, sorry, I wanted to guarantee that we'll make some Rune Chance. So I wanted to start off with this Shadow Knot attack, take the damage to Vynnset. It also makes us another Rune Chant, and it was able to actually hit a Deathly Delight off top, which kind of gives us some further ammunition in our banished zone. Then we go ahead and present the Deathly Wail. I'm not too worried about action points because the other reason to play the Shadow non-attack action and guarantee a hit of the Arcane is it automatically turns on Succumb, which we have in our banish. So no matter what they do here, I am going to play Succumb out at instant speed to restore our action point. Even if they block this out, which they do, Succumb is not going to trigger here. It's not going to hit, right? But it's going to restore our action point. So we're going to go ahead and play it out, restore our action point, and that's a threat for the rest of the turn too, right? So the next time a Rune Blade attack action card hits, we'll be able to look at their hand. So they blocked this out, no problem. We were able to restore our action point. We're going to use the Rune Chant that Malefic Incantation produced to Rune Gate out this Eloquent Eulogy, which is awesome. It consumes our action point. We're still not worried about it because when we close the chain on this, we'll make an Eloquence token, which pairs real nicely with our Funeral Moon here, which is already online because we pushed Arcane damage. So break the chain, make Eloquence, make 2 Rune Chants from Deathly Wail. We don't care to take the damage here, but this restores our action point, makes us a 3rd Rune Chant, and I want to go ahead and swing with Deathly Delight. I could have Creepers, but it wasn't really worth it. For me, I'm happy to just float this Swarming Gloomveil to the next turn, sit on it in Arsenal. It's just going to extend our next turn, so it represents either 3 or 4, well, 4 on this turn, or 3 or 4 next turn. So I'm happy to just put it in Arsenal. Either way, that was a very strong and wide turn. We stripped almost all cards from their hand. We got some equipment from them, so we're quite happy with how that went out. They're going to go ahead and present this 0 for 4. We're just, evaluating our hand. We have a couple superfluous attack action cards. Like, we can't really make good use of all of these attack action cards. So we do love Deadwood Dirge here. We are going to be able to go 2 wide with Swarming Gloomveil, but we can't really make use of all these attack action cards, so we're happy to just soak up some damage with one. Here we banish Widespread Ruin because we have Deadwood Dirge here. So we can go ahead and swing with this Swarming Gloomveil, which Malefic Incantation, let me pause for a second. Malefic Incantation pairs so nicely with Swarming Gloomveil. All we did so far was banish a Widespread Ruin, which makes us a rune chant. The fact that Malefic Incantation makes us another rune chant on attack activates Swarming Gloomveil's 2nd and 3rd ability. So it kind of like, this card makes it so that Swarming Gloomveil comes in for 4 more frequently. So it kind of like up to the value of Swarming Gloomveil. Sorry, just the 2nd ability, but that's fine. So now we go ahead and play out this Dirge, targeting the rune chant that was produced from Incantation. I'm actually considering breaking the Incant, but it's just too nice to have the ability to float rune chants after your first attack. So we go ahead and target that rune chant, make it 3, and follow it up with a Widespread Ruin for 3 and 6. They seem to want to hold on to a 5-card hand here, so they take a bunch of damage, and we're happy actually just arsenaling this Eloquent Eulogy since Tunic is on 3. Since Tunic is on 3, we can play it out natural with Tunic Resource, so I'm happy to do that. So they go ahead and present a Ravenous Rabble. I decided not to block it. I do have attack action cards, so I should have maybe blocked that just to soak up some damage. I didn't see the Lightning Press coming there, so that's fine. This one I don't want to lose value and just block out a 2, so I decided to take it, and then we decided to block this Static Shock. But we did sort of IP penalty ourselves in a way because we can't really make full use of our hand. So I decided to throw a Bounding Demagon in front of this one, soak up some damage, but we probably should have blocked the Ravenous Rabble with another one of these attack action cards. I think it does work out in the end, but just something to keep in mind. I'm not quite sure why I just like snap took the Rabble damage. It's something. Oh, and I'm considering as well, because we are sort of IP penaltying ourselves, I decided to overblock this. So I definitely would have gotten more value by spreading these 2 blocks over, and they're probably curious as to why we did this. So it was a bit of a misplay not to block the Rabble there. I should have just gotten value, identified that I had too many attacks, and gotten value from that block early on. But all we're going to do here is bank a Bounding Demagon for later, and I decided to just play this Eloquent Eulogy out, freeing our arsenal for the Revel and Runeblood, and probably making an Eloquence that we can float. So sort of a setup turn, but still presenting a bit of damage that they did decide to take. So they're now down to 11. We decided to arsenal that Revel and Runeblood, and they go ahead and present a Lightning Surge, a buffed Lightning Surge with Go Again from Arsenal. Again, we have an attack action card that we don't care to retain in hand. And in this case, I decided to use Face Purgatory. Read the Runes would have been difficult to play out. So I decided to take Face Purgatory up on its offer to block a bunch of damage, draw us a card, and take a card from our opponent's hand. They played this really crazy electromagnetic somersault thing to get the Lightning Press or Lightning Surge back. And then they play this very annoying Warmonger's Diplomacy. It's really just going to set us back a turn, and that's kind of okay. So I chose War. Since we're on 2 rune chants, we can just banish the Widespread Ruin and present it. Definitely not the turn we were hoping to have, but it's an okay turn nonetheless. So we go ahead and just present that for 2 and 6. The on hit here is just banish top of deck, and they are again wanting to put pressure, so they're choosing to go to 3, which is a bit questionable, but maybe they have something strong in hand and they want to just really try and pressure our life total. They're feeling behind, so perhaps that's the issue. Also, don't know does Lightning Greaves have Arcane Barrier? I guess I haven't really identified whether they have Arcane Barrier or not. Maybe that's why they're feeling the pressure, but I'm not sure. So they go ahead and present this. Let's rewind a little bit because they have done some things. They did flash in. I chose not to block this Filtering Charge. We have a very nice hand that will allow us to go quite wide. So I decided not to block this. They flash in a channel Lightning Valley, and so they're able to draw a card. Then they present the second strike for 4 go again. We're still like happy with our life lead, so we're just going to snap take it. Take another 7, go again, no problem. We're at 8. They present a Starfall. This one I'm really not interested in blocking. We take it to 6 because we know we have a very strong turn here. They do present another 4, which makes me have to think a little bit harder about whether we really want to go to 2. That's a bit of a scarier life total when we want to have some life lead to spend. So I'm going to pause here. Decided to get rid of this Funeral Moon. Funeral Moon, even though it does pair very nicely with the Eloquence, I'm confident enough in the rest of my hand makeup that I don't really need it. So we're just going to choose to prevent this. I also threw Spellbound Creepers under the bus because at this point, this hand is so strong. We're going to be able to make a bunch of rune chants from Revel, Deathly Wail, make it huge. So, you know, with these cards alone, we're threatening what? 3 plus 8 is 11 plus... no, I think I missed one. I think so. 3 plus 9 because it's going to get +1 from Shadow Puppetry. So 12 plus 4 is 16 plus 4 is 20. So we have a 20 damage turn without the Funeral Moon. You know, with Funeral Moon, it would have just added like another 2 damage with another rune chant, an action point to swing Flail. So even without that, our turn is so big that we're not so worried about it while they're at 3. They did have a blue in hand and a few reds, but I think they see the writing on the wall at this point, so they just decided to scoop, which is fair enough. But again, really strong. Definitely some stuff lined up for us. You know, I'm not saying that Redline is like runs that smooth every time. It is still Runeblade, so you're going to run into some games where you're feeling a little more awkward. But the power is there. The ceiling is there on the Redline list. And it's feeling pretty good right now. I'm not going to lie to you. So anyways, I've said this in the past. I'll reiterate it again. The best list for you is not necessarily the best list for me. And there's not going to be one way to build Vynnset. There are definitely going to be some decisions that can be made to optimize the list. But I still strongly believe that no matter how much you optimize the list, there are going to be certain lines and things like that that you favor as a player. So it's always the best decision to play the list that you're most comfortable with, that has the that favors the lines that you're most comfortable with or that you see most easily. But anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you enjoy these short form gameplay videos. If you do, consider subscribing, give it a like, give me a comment. But I'm going to leave it at that for now, and I'll be back with another game real soon. Cheers, everybody.